Alright guys, so let's show you this. Let's get into it. Real cost of, let's say, a business that is a liquor store, and thankfully a good friend of mine who owns a liquor store got to give me a couple figures on what his startup cost was and his monthly expenses are. And so let's just get into it real quick. He gave me about 20% of these figures for his one-time startup fee. Let's say business and fixtures and equipment, about $5,000. That's about 20% of what he had. He has a pretty big liquor store, and business fixtures and equipment were pretty big. The equipment, especially the refrigerators, he was saying, and a lot of the lights and stuff like that outside of the liquor store, and a lot of the lights inside, like those neon lights you often see. Installing the equipment wasn't too bad. He got to do a lot of that stuff on his own. He said it's only $1,000. Yeah, only. Well, that's 20%. Remodeling, decorating. He went into a pretty nice building. He didn't really have to do much. Startup inventory cost was huge for him because it's a liquor store, you know, and that's a lot of liquor that you have to have on inventory and in your warehouse or in your building. Office supplies were pretty big for him. Utility deposits, I didn't really ask him that or get into that. Legal and professional fees were pretty big for him, just for the one-time startup fees. That goes along with the license and permits too. The lawyers had to go over all the licenses and the permits. All that together was this was kind of like a package deal for him, and that was pretty big. The license for just to have the license and permit to hold a liquor store, let alone carry alcohol and sell it, was pretty huge. Insurance is pretty big. Insurance for the property, and insurance for a few customers a few employees that are on full time. Advertising for opening wasn't too bad. I was surprised that he didn't spend too much on advertising. I guess you don't have to when you have a liquor store. You kind of just have some flashing lights down on Main Street or wherever it is, and liquor stores, you know, are pretty sought after in most places, I guess. And you know, I would say for advertising for anything is the most key thing. You know, that goes with marketing, obviously, and that's what we specialize in. And I would say, you know, if it's online marketing for a liquor store, you really don't have to do too much. You know, I would say most of that's offline marketing and putting your business out there in other like restaurants or, you know, around the area, around town, and you know, people. It's for a liquor store or something like that. People are only going to go to the closest liquor store to where they're at. You know, and there's so many of them. You really only have to promote within a small radius and market within a small radius of where your liquor store is at. Due to the fact that there's, you know, so many. And that kind of is interesting, actually. That kind of goes along with online marketing. There's a lot of online marketing businesses out there, obviously. And so you kind of like have a higher competition, obviously, but your radius is completely unlimited. I mean, it could be from any country, any town, and it's just the whole world is who you're marketing to, unlike a liquor store where you're just marketing to really the 20-mile radius if you're lucky. So let's keep going. And this is just a small percentage, like I said, $29,300 for just a startup cost. Maybe that's about 20% around there. Like I said, there's probably still some one-time startup costs he didn't give me, and he's just giving me some ballpark figures. He's had it for about a year, so this was about a year ago. You know, he was just kind of throwing it out there. But he's really smart with money, so he wasn't just joshing me or giving me some crap numbers. So let's go to monthly expenses, which is something he deals with every day for the past year. Your salary, you know, I wasn't going to ask him about his living expenses and salaries, but I asked him about his employee wages, and he gave me about 20% of what his 3 to 4 employees that he has with him, which is about $30,000. Rent was about $2,500. That was the actual figure of it. I don't think that was 20% of it. Utilities, you know, lighting, and anything else that goes along with having a liquor store. Was about $2,000. Supplies wasn't too much. I guess like supplies for the cash register and what's in and so on. Insurance I guess $400 sounds reasonable. I would think, I wasn't sure if he meant insurance for his employees or insurance for the building. I'm not sure. Delivery expenses was pretty big. I think with the price of gas and everything for the liquor to be delivered to him, this was definitely 20% of what the actual figure was. And then monthly advertising expenses, I didn't ask him. Taxes, I didn't ask him, and all this. Like I said, advertising for a liquor store is not as intense as some other types of businesses. Maintenance is about $500, and let's see, total monthly expenses $36,600. And he kind of laughed at me when I asked him, if that was the monthly expenses, and he said it could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. But let's just see what your total startup funds needed for 1 month of operation. It's $65,900 for your total funds to operate. So it's quite a lot of money for just a startup cost, and the 1 month after the startup cost of owning or starting up a business offline.
Okay, so you saw that. You got to see the numbers and percentages for yourself of something, an example of offline business to start up, and you can go ahead and ask yourself and make an informed decision for yourself as to what you think a real risk would be in starting any business. And if that is what you think a risk would be and you want to go towards something online business, well, then you need to start and ask yourself, do you want to be a student, and do you want to start with any of the 3 income streams we have to offer that don't have any risk? And if you can sit there and devote yourself and your time and be a student and get ready to make some money online, then go to one of the 3 income streams that we have to offer on this website here, gettoonlinesuccess.com/Jason Cruz sales page, or you can call me on my home phone, and we'll talk. So I hope this was valuable content, information for you guys, and hope to talk to you soon. All right, bye.